What's happening, beautiful people? This is Grateful Panic, and I'm so glad you stopped by today, and I hope by the end of the video you are too. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're not going to do a review. We're not going to talk about any specs, no weight, no measurements, maybe a little bit about size and materials, but that's about it. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, we need to go ahead and get a quick panic dump out of the way and a beverage check. So today I've been toting around the Tucson TS-177, otherwise known as the Dynamo, and it's a dandy little knife, man. It's a lot of fun. Some great materials on it for a really good price, depending on what the winning bid ends up being. I got that one for really cheap, and I'm really happy with it. And my slip joint for today was also a Tucson. This is the Tucson TS-233, and I don't believe it has a name. I've just been calling it the white bone slip joint. Let's see if we can get a quick look at that Damascus. Yeah, it's got some good looking blades made out of some good looking Damascus. Don't know what the steel is, but it looks cool. My flashlight was the Lumentop FW3A. If you're looking for, any of you guys are looking for a good budget flashlight that won't break the bank but still has a lot of features, this one is 2800 lumens, and it's got a butt ton of blinky modes, and it's got a battery check, all the fancy dancy stuff. Pretty much $40 wherever you can find it, which they've got it on Amazon, several different retailers online, and of course had the trusty Fisher Space Pen and Alox Pioneer. As far as the beverage check goes, I'm drinking on a little bit of the Founders Centennial IPA. Pretty tasty stuff. And I got to give a shout out to my buddy Shoemonster Tech, because he loves him some IPA as well. So cheers, Shoe. Alright, one last order of business before we get to the meat and taters. Had a little something exciting come in today. Well, exciting for me. I don't know how excited you'll be about it, but thought it was pretty neat. I made a little sample order for some new channel stickers, and those came in today. I got 3 different sizes just to try and see, what I thought was best. And I've got another order for 10 more of them in a different font. And it's not going to have the shadowing behind the letters. So when those come in, I think what I'm going to do is just kind of put them all up here, and I'm going to let you guys vote on your favorite one as far as size and font, and we're going to go with that. And I've got to give some of these, I don't got to, but I want to give some of these to my YouTube pals, and whatever I have left over, I'll let you guys know, and first come, first serve, I'll send them out to you. And then when I get the actual order in, I'm going to sell them for, just pretty much enough to make back my cost, and maybe, a little extra to throw in for shipping in the future, to maybe ship some knives out or get some knives shipped here. But I'll let you guys know whenever all that's final and said and done. But excuse me, got a little frog in my throat. But what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about
the evolution of the Pilar.
That's correct, guys. We're all going to sit here and discuss
the evolution of the Pilar.
And as everybody knows, the Pilar is a very enigmatic knife. It's easily recognizable. Everybody knows what it is as soon as they see it. And more than likely, the vast majority of you either have one or have had one of any of the 3 versions at now or some point in the past. So I guess, we might as well just go ahead and start with the original. And this isn't the original. I did a little work to it and made it better, but it's still not a great knife. I got a micarta carbidized scale from Blade HQ and some phosphor bronze washers. I'm sure you probably can't see those, but we'll try. Come on. You can kind of see it there a little bit. From a guy on Etsy, and then I bronzed the hardware myself, and nope, it will, I swear, there you go, it'll spidey flick, and it's drop shutty-ish, but it's a whole lot better than what it was when I got it. Matter of fact, when I got it, of course, you know, these old, the original Pilars had those Teflon washers, and the action was sluggish and just muddy as crap. And it was, I mean, everybody liked it, but everybody didn't like it. There was a lot of complaints as far as the size, the blade steel. So I think it was maybe it was out for 2 years. It's either out for a year or 2 years, and they decided to upgrade and make it a little bit bigger and upgrade the blade steel. This is the large Pilar, but it's still the 8CR13 MOV, and I got to be honest with you, I have no idea how I came about owning this knife, because not only do I not remember ordering it, I don't ever remember it coming in the mail. It was in my knife box, and I had it. So I guess the knife fairy came and brought it to me, or whatever. But they did put bearings on this and on the other versions of the large Pilar, which you got the Pilar and you got the Pilar 3. Common sense would say this would be the Pilar 2, but it's not. It's the large Pilar, or as the guys on Blade HQ call it, the Pilarge. And the only thing I don't really like about this, because the blade still really doesn't matter, this is just a beater knife anyway for me, and I mean, it does good at what it does, but the only thing I don't like about it is this stupid flipper tab, because anytime, you know, I'm going to close it, it catches my thumb, and then, you know, I gotta finagle it around anyway, so it's kind of pointless for that good action. So okay, they made it bigger. They upgraded the blade steel on some models, but you could still get it in the base model 8CR that everybody loves. And then 2020 happened, and life was great. The birds were singing, kids were dancing in the streets, there were ticker tape parades, and I'm pretty sure that was probably 1920, because none of that right there happened in 2020. But to make us feel better about how horrible a year it was, I guess, CRKT decided they were going to revamp the Pilar again. So they came out with the Pilar 3. And you know what, guys? I think they hit a home run with this one. It's got I mean, and to me, they improved the blade shape. I think that is a very attractive blade. I mean, you still got, you know, that nice belly that the slight belly that the original had, but then on top of that, you got, you know, a much finer point where you can actually do some piercing, and they kind of elongated the handle where the shape is the same from the second iteration to this one, but they didn't like proportionally enlarge it. They kind of stretched it out to where it's longer, and the blade is actually, or the handle is actually much narrower. And to me, it feels a lot better in hand. And this one, I can actually get a 4-finger grip on just the handle. I mean, it looks funny as crap sticking out like that, but I mean, it's comfortable, and that right there is super comfortable. Gotta wet my whistle real quick. Sorry, guys. But it's like, for once, they actually, a knife company improved on a knife without ultimately making it worse, because it seems like these knife companies, they'll make one small change to improve a knife, but then the other changes that they make actually make the knife worse, so that it's worse than the model that they improved it from. But this one, I don't see anything worse. Matter of fact, I think everything is top notch on it. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Like this year, they've brought out 2 more versions of the Elementum. Now with a fixed blade, I don't have a problem with that. I think it's cool. I think that was a really good idea. But this button lock that they came out with, that's not really a button. I mean, I guess in every essence of the word, it is actually a button lock, because the button locks the blade closed and open, and there's only one way of opening it. They basically took the most fidget-friendly knife in the world and took all the fun out of it. Because I swear everybody loves a button lock for one reason, because it's great to fidget with. You've got, on most of them now, 3 modes of deployment. You've got the flipper tab, you have thumb studs, or some sort of, thumb hole, thumb space, some way to open the blade with your thumb, and you've got the button. So, I mean, most of them you can spidey flick, you can thumb flick, you can flip it with the flipper tab, and you can, depress the button and give it a wrist flick and open the blade. Which, in my opinion, just from talking to people and reading online, deploying it with the actual button is everybody's least favorite way of opening the blade. Most people would rather, just flip it or flick it. I mean, that's the most satisfying to me. They did away with all the fun stuff and left you with your least favorite mode of deployment as the only method of deployment. And it's like, I don't know, it feels like they, called a meeting and they were like, all right, so we're going to have this promotion, and for every CRKT knife that somebody buys, we got to do something special. So we could either like give them maybe $5 gift certificate towards a CRKT product. We could give them maybe like 5 points towards a new knife for every knife they buy. Or we could have a rabid monkey deliver the knife to their house, stab them repeatedly in the foot before it hands it to them, and then hand the knife to them. And then Joe in the back's like, I vote for monkey, and everybody's like, okay, yep, monkey it is. And it leaves the customers thinking, what the heck was going through your brain? But I think CRKT avoided this. They didn't go down like Civivi, and that really disappointed me, because Civivi was on track, and I still think they have the best 2021 lineup overall. But that, I don't know, that button lock really put a sour taste in my mouth, because at first I was all for it, and then I started listening, and that's when they explained it was literally just a button lock, and I had had enough by then. But I think CRKT did it right. They made it a more attractive shape. They made it a more functional, useful shape. Everything about the knife is better, in my opinion. The action's better, and this has, I think, the best action and lockup of any CRKT knife I've had, period. It's great. I mean, there's no wiggle. These two, not so much this one, but the original large Pilar, when it still had the Teflon washers in it, and definitely this one, because it had Teflon washers in it when I got it, and just putting those phosphor bronze washers in it completely fixed the blade play problem and the centering problem. Because I know the CRKTs with Teflon washers usually have a good bit of off-centered blades, and the phosphor bronze washers just totally fixed it. And both of these with the bearings are totally fine centered. See if we can look at that. I mean, that's dead nuts right there. And look at this guy. and that's another thing I just noticed, is that that back spacer's a lot different. It kind of closes off the end on this one and not so much that one. And let's see this guy with the phosphor bronze. It's still a little bit off favoring the show side, but it's pretty close. It's a lot closer than it was. But yeah, so I mean, just in my opinion, I say good job, CRKT, and I also say keep it up, because this guy right here, if they were to make this, say, in a titanium frame lock with a micarta scale and maybe M390 blade steel, man, I would buy that up in a heartbeat, and I think a lot of other people would too. And I think that's the key with these knife companies, is they need to put out, when they put out, an upgraded model, they need to put their finger on the public's pulse. They need to get on YouTube, watch the video on similar knives, or watch the video on the new iteration of one of their previous models that they put out, and read the comments, because that's where they're going to get all their information. If Civivi had done that, they never would have put out the button lock that they did, because they would have read all these comments about people talking about multiple modes of deployment and fidget factor, and what they like about every model of knife that's ever come out, because I mean that's what the YouTube reviews do. And I think a lot more, or basically all the knife companies, need to put more stock in what's going on YouTube, and I think we'd get better knives coming out. But like I said, good job, CRKT. I'm proud of you on this one. I think you did real good, and definitely Jesper Voxnes did good, because I mean, of course, he's the designer, and that guy is a genius. If he can make a knife that size fit my big old meat hooks, then I mean, he's got to be a genius. And I mean, basically, he took that knife and turned it into a fully functional, basically everyday. I mean, it can be a everyday primary carry. I mean, yeah, smaller one, but it serves perfectly as an everyday carry. So basically, that was my version of the evolution of the Pilar, with a little bit of editorial and opinion thrown in. And I don't know, like I said, CRKT basically took a crappy little knife and turned it into a pretty fantastic knife that's just in need of some more premium materials. And I think the other knife companies could learn a lot from them and do the same thing. So that's basically all I have to say about the Pilar, everybody's favorite little knife. And you know what, guys, I've been dropping several links to several YouTube channels down in the comments, and do me a favor, just go down there, just pick one and go to it. One that you don't subscribe to and maybe have never watched any of their videos. Pick one of them and go check out some of their videos, subscribe to them, throw them a comment, just say hey, that'll make them feel good, because I mean, that really makes us feel good to get feedback from you guys. It makes us feel like, what we're doing matters to you. And at the end of the day, that's all we really want, man. We just want to matter. Everybody in the world, they want to matter to somebody. And, just the simple act of telling somebody, hey, great video, good job, how's it going, have a nice day, it goes a long way, guys. And because all of you matter to me, like a lot, like big time. Reading your comments, getting feedback from you guys, it means the world to me. And it puts a smile on my face and brightens up my day. And I think at the end of the day, after the year that we just had, everybody needs to have their day brightened a little bit. So I appreciate what you guys do for me, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I doubt you got anything informative out of it, but if you did, you know, that's a bigger bonus for me. So, you guys know that you're welcome here anytime. You're always welcome to come back. And until next time, when you do come back, go ahead and EDC your ass off and do something nice for somebody. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.